Have you ever encountered a question delivered with an almost too gentle sincerity? Huh? A question that sounds like genuine concern, yet instantly makes your internal alarm system go off? A soft tone, an innocent look. But the moment you respond, you realize you've been lured onto a playing field where the only goal is your defeat. This is the subtle technique of the dishonest. They don't just deceive with facts. They use inquiries as instruments of control. And if you fail to see through their facade, you'll soon find yourself consumed by self-doubt, apologizing for non-existent faults until your energy is spent fighting yourself, instead of confronting them. The Hellenistic philosophers understood this perfectly. Zeno, Chrysippus, and Posidonius. The early Stoics taught us to be vigilant. The skilled deceiver seldom attacks head-on. They deposit tiny, incremental seeds of doubt and wait for the target to initiate their own collapse. 2 millennia later, the strategy is unchanged, only more polished. In this video, we will dissect the other 5 most treacherous questions, designed to disorient and subjugate you. Crucially, I will demonstrate the Stoic counter-response: calm, precise, and utterly unshakable. By the end, you'll possess the mental tools to guarantee you are never made a pawn in someone else's petty skirmish. Stay with me for every lesson. Why are you making such a big deal about this? At face value, it mimics genuine inquiry, but do not be misled. This is the opening volley of the gaslighter. Vacant. Embedded within this query is not curiosity, but condemnation. What they are truly communicating is, you are irrational. You are over-dramatizing the situation. Your reaction, not my behavior, is the problem. Think back. Have you been in a private relationship where bringing up a clear boundary violation was dismissed with a careless chuckle? Relax, you're always overthinking things. Or perhaps in a professional setting, you questioned an ethically shaky decision, only to hear, don't catastrophize. This is just how the system works. That is not empathy. That is a tactical weapon. They seek to neutralize your greatest asset, your internal clarity. They want to twist your innate sensibility, which acts as an indispensable truth detector, into a crippling flaw. Epictetus famously noted that what upsets people is not what happens to them, but their judgment about what happens. Manipulators exploit this by skewing your judgment of your own reaction until you accept the premise that you are the flaw. The Stoic response: sensitivity is not a deficit. It is heightened perception. The individual who feels and sees things deeply is often the first to notice structural failures that others choose to ignore. The compliance officer who flagged small, suspicious transactions was mocked as being alarmist, but later uncovered a major corporate deceit. The spouse whose intuition whispered of a subtle change in routine, dismissed as overly emotional, only to later confirm infidelity. In both cases, the deep sensitivity was an essential alarm bell. Marcus Aurelius taught us, if someone can prove me wrong, I will gladly change my opinion, for it is the truth I pursue, and the truth has never harmed anyone. A person of genuine character will honor your perception. Only those with something to conceal fear your awareness. Next time they pose the loaded question, bypass the defensive rage. Hold their gaze and calmly counter. I am not escalating the situation. I am simply articulating reality. Does my clarity make you uncomfortable? This single reply shifts the burden of proof entirely. You don't need proof, right? You trust me? It sounds disarmingly benign. Yet, beneath the veneer, this is not a request. It is a forced compliance mechanism. Anyone who demands "Yao merit your faith" rather than consistently earning, it has already revealed their true intent. Consider, a truly dependable person has no need to verbally solicit your confidence. Their history of not enough consistent action speaks for itself. But when someone presses you with, "You trust me, don't you?" they are functionally commanding. Stop analyzing. Stop questioning. Just give me complete control of your discernment. Seneca warned that confidence is a plant of slow growth. Liars leverage this question to short-circuit your rational thought, making you feel profoundly guilty for exercising prudence, and convincing you that caution is equivalent to disloyalty. But prudence is not treason. Prudence is wisdom. The example: the investor who refuses to open the books but leans in and whispers, "Just trust my vision." Or the partner who keeps their communications password protected, yet pleads, "Do you really doubt my loyalty?" They are not fostering faith. They are demanding blind allegiance. And blind allegiance is the ideal incubator for deceit. The Stoic response. A Stoic maintains apatheia, the disciplined refusal to let emotions overpower reason. When confronted with the manipulative demand, "You trust me, right?" breathe deeply, collect your thoughts, and respond. Trust is built on verifiable reliability. Are you asking me to disregard the evidence before me? That single sentence reframes the entire interaction. The focus is immediately back on their actions. Nikas, not your skepticism. An honest person will not take offense. They will simply continue to demonstrate their trustworthiness through their deeds. Are you suggesting I'm guilty of something? This maneuver is brilliantly manipulative. It appears to be a straightforward response, but it operates as a deflection shield, valstum, immediately placing you on the defensive. You raise a legitimate concern. You notice an inconsistency. You ask for clarification. And instantaneously, instead of an answer, you receive a sharp countercharge. Wait, are you seriously suggesting I've committed an offense? In that split second, you are no longer the objective observer. You have been cast as the catching antagonist. The scrutiny is instantly removed from their behavior and fixed squarely on your attitude. This tactic forces you into a mode of desperate self-vindication. You rush to clarify, you backtrack, you utter phrases like, no, that's not what I intended at all. And just like that, you have forfeited your position of strength. The strategy. Marcus Aurelius noted that the best answer to wrath is silence. In this context, silence is not submission. It is a powerful refusal to accept their framing. Imagine a prosecutor being forced to apologize to the defendant. The case dissolves. That is the function of this calculated question. The Stoic response. Respond with stillness and composure. Next time someone snaps, are you suggesting I'm guilty? Resist the urge to fill the void. Hold your line. Maintain steady eye contact. Wait 3, perhaps 4 seconds. And then calmly state, is that the appropriate conclusion I should draw? It's a short question, but it pierces the performance. Manipulators rely on your panic. They are never prepared for your absolute composure. Remember, the individual who immediately pivots to, "Are you accusing me?" is often the one most concerned with the discovery of the truth. Truth remains steady. Wisdom never apologizes for observation. Why would I ever deceive someone like you? This is a refined form of emotional blackmail. It sounds delicate and slightly wounded, as if your mere doubt has caused them intense injury. But consider the implication. Why would any person need to pose this question unless they sensed your intuition was closing in on the facts? Why would I ever deceive you? Is not a true question. It is an emotional plea designed to paint them as noble and you as cruel for entertaining any other possibility. Its power rests on guilt. Dirt. If they can successfully guilt-trip you into abandoning your skepticism, you will cease your inquiry. You will silence your gut, and you will deliver the very thing they desire. Unconditional, unearned faith. The principle. The Stoics remind us that integrity is a constant state, not a performance. Chrysippus argued that a moral life is built on actions, not words. An upright person has no need to convince you of their moral infallibility. Their actions speak for themselves, day after day, without theatrics. The observation. The colleague who avoids accountability but insists, "Come on, would I really lie to your face?" The more desperate they become to perform innocence, the more diligently you must search for what lies underneath. The Stoic response. Do not take the emotional bait. Do not scramble to offer reassurance. Instead, with unwavering clarity, when asked, "Why would I ever deceive you?" Pause. Let the silence hang heavy. Then reply, "That is not the relevant query. The question is, would I be able to detect it if you did?" In that split second, you reclaim power. Deceivers operate best in obscurity. Your response turns on a blinding light. When the spotlight is fixed, the shadows can no longer provide cover. Honest people welcome scrutiny. Only liars recoil from it. Can we just put this behind us and move on? This is the final, most desperate card in the manipulator's hand. When denial has failed, when deflection has collapsed, they resort to the tactic of weariness. Can't we just put this behind us? On the surface, it promises relief and finality. But look deeper. It is not a bid for peace. It is a cry for escape. What they are essentially saying is, I refuse accountability. I will not face the consequences. I simply need you to become too exhausted to continue digging. This is how countless deceptions survive. Not because the liar is a genius, but because the truth seeker is eventually overcome by fatigue and relents. The Stoic discipline. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." Note that he never added the caveat, unless it becomes too inconvenient. For the Stoic, truth is timeless. Else, it does not expire just because someone is anxious to move forward. The reality. The institution caught in a gross error begs its employees. Let's stop dwelling on the past and focus on maximizing future profits. The person exposed in an emotional betrayal insists, "Why keep dissecting this? Let's just move ahead." In both scenarios, the plea is not for genuine healing. It is a demand for silence, to bury what is still actively festering. The Stoic response. Respond not with anger, but with unyielding resolve. When asked, "Can't we just move on?" Take a breath and calmly anchor yourself with this reply. I will put this behind us when I have a complete understanding of what truly occurred, not one moment sooner. This declaration signals that you cannot be hurried. It communicates that your peace is founded upon clarity, not emotional exhaustion. Manipulators despise this, as their power source is your depletion. When you refuse to surrender your resolve, their game is irrevocably over. Moving on is a result of honesty, not a substitute for it. The Stoic shield. You are now equipped with knowledge of the 5 destructive questions. Each one is a tactical deployment. Each one is a snare. But you are no longer the target. You are the manquerons, master of your own mind. The Stoic does not need to rage. He does not need to argue. He sits quietly, observes the facts, and allows the deceiver's words to expose their own lack of character. Epictetus established the core of freedom. Some things are within our power, and some things are not. When they attempt to guilt you, remember, their emotional state is not your burden. When they accuse you of being too sensitive, remember, awareness is a strength, not a disability. And when they try to exhaust you, remember, truth has no deadline. The manipulator's strongest weapon is your immediate, emotional reaction. Remove that reaction, and their weapon is rendered inert. The Stoic understands that detachment is liberation. So the next time someone attempts to twist your perception, do not rush. Do not panic. Simply ask yourself, is this action or feeling within my power or outside of it? With that single, precise question, you reclaim absolute control. Choose clarity, pure. Choose reason. Choose. Walk forward as a Stoic warrior. Calm, observant, and impossible to control.